morning. It's 7 a.m. The day of the fair, Thursday, August 21st, or some goofy number like that. And I was planning to get up a lot earlier and pulled a late one last night so that I could have everything ready. And so I ended up, my phone died in the middle of the night. My alarm didn't go off. So it's 7 a.m., start of the fair. There's so much to do. I am so thankful that I was overwhelmed earlier this summer, just weeks ago. And I shared quite a bit on Instagram, but I didn't share anything on YouTube. But I was trying to find ways, because this kind of is my day every day, is that we wake up at like a fairly normal time, 7 a.m., 6:37 is usually when most of us get up, and I am running late. There's so much on my to-do list. There's so much left over from the day before. There's so many places I have to run. I have to deliver firewood. I have to deliver kids to work and all of that kind of stuff. There's just so much on my plate. So I was talking about it with Owen, and the people who are in charge of our egg program at the fair hadn't printed the bidder packets, which are what, when people are buying, it's for anybody who's interested in buying an animal from the fair. And it gives a little bio on each kid, explains what they're raising and all that kind of stuff. I thought, you know what? I need things off my plate. What is going to be the easiest thing that I could have off of my plate? And unfortunately, it was the kids' 4-H lambs. There's various reasons for that, but the biggest one is that it is so hard to do the fair. It's fun for the kids. It's a great learning experience, all of that, but it is so hard for the parents. My husband can't take off of work for it, so he'll get there at 7 p.m. I've done fair stuff all day, every day, by myself, plus all the chores back at home and the farm stuff back at home, and plus trying to wrangle and corral and be a parent to 3 kids at a fair. It's hard. It is so stinking hard. I had already talked to the kids a little bit, like, hey, do you really want to do this? You're not working with your lambs as much as you were last year, that kind of stuff. And so what I went to each of them and I said, what would you think if mom and dad bought your lambs from you and we just processed them for ourselves for meat? And one person, the one who we anticipated, was very upset about it. But underneath the upsetness, it was losing the lamb that was upset. It wasn't not showing them at the fair that was upset. One was, she didn't care, just shrugged her shoulders and said, okay. And then the other one was like, oh, that's such a relief. I'm sad, but I really don't want to. They're a lot of work. And this kid is the one who is putting in all the work for him, pretty much. And so I made the decision, since the bidder packets hadn't been printed yet, to not do the sheep for the fair. And I knew that leading up to it, shearing each sheep for the fair in a fair clipping. So shearing the sheep, just getting them ready. Last year, the kids had taken their lambs out every single day for a walk. and they were so well trained. These ones were not as well trained. I mean, they could lead them, but like not like last year's. And so, you know, being on their case all the time, and that's part of being in 4-H is that, you know, mom and dad have to stay on your case because those are animals. And, you know, when you're doing it by yourself, that's so hard. It is so hard. It's so hard. My memory since we've gotten this place, I had Lyme disease the first summer after we were here. Because of the Lyme disease, my memory is gone. So trying to remember all of this and trying to remember what the kids need to do and remind them, and even if I write it down, they don't necessarily always do it because they're kids. So it just worked out better for all of us if we did not put the lambs in the fair this year. And it sucks. It's a huge disappointment, but for my sanity, it was well worth it. So we are only entering poultry in the fair, which really makes things a lot easier. The judging is today at 5-ish. And then they are selling them on Saturday, but really other than going and taking care of them, there's nothing else that I need to do. I don't need to be at the fairgrounds all day tomorrow. My kid who needs a lot of guidance does not need to be at the fairgrounds from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day. I don't need to figure out how to be there and be here and do chores and keep an eye on the animals here. So it really is a big weight off of our shoulders. So with that said, today is going to be the crazy day. I have to have one child to work in just a little bit. I have to deliver firewood. It's loaded up in my minivan because you do what you gotta do. I have a whole bunch of signs I have to finish making, and then we have to load up all of the chickens, and we're bringing a lot. Chickens, turkeys, and ducks. And I have to load all of them up and bring them, bring the rest of like the decorations and all of that we were planning to bring. I have to run back to the neighboring town and pick up the one child from work, and then have her back to the fairgrounds in time for judging, and then do the judging and all of that kind of stuff. So that is what we're doing. I hope I remember to take you guys along, but if not, this right here will just be a video. So yeah, hopefully I can show you a little bit of the fair and everything as we go. Coffee. There's so few cups left in there. Sydney is making lunch. It looks like she's kind of good cheese, but we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for food, Sid. Yes. Are you? Oh, that's your breakfast too. I mean, cheese for breakfast and lunch. Mm-hmm. Will that cause you any digestive issues? Shouldn't you be using a cutting board? Mm-hmm. That was a hint. You're not really supposed to have a flame when you're engraving, but I don't have time to engrave this piece of wood twice. It's actually just a thin sheet of plywood, and it must have some extra glue in it. And I don't really have time to do it twice. So I'm just watching it really close. Get as many done as possible because it is for the kids' birds at the fair. So I am on my way to bring Sydney to work and deliver a load of firewood, and Lily's horse Rusty is sick. I noticed he was laying down this morning multiple times, and that's usually not like him. He hasn't laid down, really, I haven't seen him lay down since this spring. We finally were able to catch him, get him in the stall, get a halter on him because he wasn't haltered. We could not catch him with grain like we usually do. Usually he will come right to the grain and we let you halter him and all that. We couldn't. So it took a bit. So Lily's back at the farm, walking him in case it's colic. And what do? You know, you have a kid who has to be someplace, you have businesses relying on you. And you have a horse who's sick and you don't know what's wrong. Did call the vet, I'm playing phone tag with them. My dad is working, so my mom is on her way out to the farm, hoping she's pulling in any minute. And Lily is out walking Rusty in case it is colic. So that's it. Welcome to Fair Week. So it's now 11 o'clock and Lily's horse right there. We're treating it. The vet was just out. I just have to say, we have the most awesome vets. They're building a multi-million-dollar facility just half a mile down from our place, and I can't wait. But the vet was out, and we're treating him as if he has gas colic right now. He did poop. He just is really almost lethargic, but he doesn't have a fever. He did have ehrlichiosis last year, but she doesn't feel it's related to that. He doesn't have the other symptoms that would come with it. So for right now, we're just treating it as gas colic. We tubed him, got some fluids in him just to make sure that everything was okay. And he had some Banamine, so that should, if it is gas colic, it should help. So really the next couple of hours we'll know more. If it isn't, we're looking at something that we have to do blood work for. And so we're just going to leave that at that, not go down that rabbit trail at this point because we don't know what's wrong. So gas colic, it's now 11 o'clock. Fairgrounds just opened to bring our animals and I'm nowhere even close to being ready. So we're just going to do what we can do. The plan is to have my parents come back at 1 so that Beck and I can go bring all the poultry up to the fair. When we get that done, we'll come back here because we want to have somebody here. Lily does not want to leave her horse. I don't want to leave her here by herself with a sick horse. That's just not right to put a 13-year-old under. I had to do that this morning and I cried the whole way. So, my parents are going to come back at 1. At 3, I have to pick up Sid from work. So, depending on what is going on, my parents might pick her up from work. I might be home in time. And then judging starts like 5 or 6. I wish that they would say this is the time judging is going to start. The judge could take a break from the other things he was going to do versus, say we're going to start it at this time. But it is what it is. So we need to be up at the fairgrounds around 5. Lily said she is not going to leave her horse, and I don't blame her. So Sydney will show her animals for her. Thankfully, we have a small county fair, and they don't really care. They're just grateful that they have participants. And yeah, so that's where that is. Trying to just juggle it all. So now I have to finish the sign I'm making for the fair. So we got the sign done. So now I have to deliver this to the fair when we bring our animals. It's 1:30 and we are headed to the fair. We have poultry all in the back. I think we have everybody that we need.
Rusty is doing better. The Banamine that they gave him must have really helped. Or whatever it was must have helped. So he's doing a lot better. So Lily is going with us to the fair. My mom is gonna go pick up Sid from work because it's 1:30. There's no way I can be to her work, which is a half an hour away, by 3 o'clock. And so she's gonna pick her up from work for me. So we're gonna go unload these guys and then get their pens all set up, and then we will go back home and meet to grab Sid so that they can go in for their judging. Home now for probably 15 minutes because we have to get Sid for chicken showing or poultry judging, and so we're stopping home really quick and then we are going back to the fair.
Oh, you brought my girl? No, there's other ducks.
Time that they've been separated. So we are done. It's 8 o'clock. We are done at the fair. We're headed home to check on Rusty and do chores. And the kids did really well. They got all firsts and seconds, right, guys?
Yep.
So that is, let's see, Lily got how many firsts? 3 or 4 firsts. Any seconds?
Yeah, 1.
And 1 second. Sydney got what, Sid?
I think 4 firsts and 1 second.
4 firsts and 1 second. And Beck got
3 firsts and 1 second.
3 firsts and 1 second. And then all of their entries, not all of their entries. So they took Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion for pretty much everything that they entered that could have been gotten at. So turkeys got Grand and Reserved. Ducks got Grand and Reserved. Each male, one got Grand, one got Reserve Grand. And then Beck had a pen of the big meat chickens. So are they broilers?
Yeah. No, roasters.
Roasters.
Are 5 and,
The roasters, Beck's pen of roasters got Grand Champion, and that is because Lily's got pooped on during the show, and so it looked all like dirty.
plus
But then
they're white too. So.
yeah, and then Lily's pen of broilers got a Reserve Grand Champion. So overall, they did really well, and they did really good.
finally bedtime, and we made it through the first day of the fair. Thankfully, since we only have poultry this year, we don't have anything on the agenda for tomorrow. But because we are in the market animal club or program or whatever it's called, the rest of our group has stuff going on. They have all of the other animals are being shown. So we will be spending the day up there tomorrow, but because we're not required to be there for things, our schedule, like, we're going to be volunteering, and then we can come home and check on everybody, which ended up working out really well because of Rusty being sick. So for now, he seems to be doing back to normal, a lot better. He ate his grain tonight. He's been grazing, so he really does seem to be doing a lot better, but I still am going to keep a close eye on him, and I probably always will because I'm paranoid about that kind of stuff. But that's it. We are home, it's dark, and it's time for bed, so we can get up and do everything again tomorrow. Hopefully we don't need the vet. Hopefully it's a little more relaxing, a little more calm, and that is it. Thanks for watching. Bye.